Yo, my dudes, what's going on? David here, and welcome to another reaction. This episode, we are diving into The Good Place, Season 1, Episode 5, called Category 55 Emergency Doomsday Crisis. Man, that is a mouthful. Hopefully, you've been enjoying the series. Hopefully, you are having a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to Patreon for the full, uncut, unedited reactions over there. Episodes extra early over there as well. With that being said, buckle your seatbelts. That's right. A
Writing on a
point, but
chalkboard.
dang.
Why don't you just leave? We can pretend to be soulmates in public, but other than that, we don't have to see each other.
Fine with me. I'll move out.
Good Place, and it has come very obvious for me that this show is just unique in so many different ways, and one of those being, I understand it's a comedy, and yes, at moments we do get some belly laughing comedy, but I think there's more behind the show. I enjoy the show more for the story being told than I do for the comedy purpose of it. And it's extremely unique. You know, most comedy shows that I've watched, at least, don't usually have an overarching story. It just kind of sort of every episode is themed for the topic of the day, the topic of the episode. This one, although is, topic of the episode, everything that happened in previous episodes carry over. And, it's just done so well. I sit here and try to think about things to, nitpick about the show, and I seriously cannot find those things. This is, to me, another episode that deserves an 8. It's a really good episode. I really have nothing to, say negative about it. I can see the arguments for higher ratings, but I think it's, giving it an 8 is about what I would do for this episode. It's really hard to dislike anything that the show puts out. I just think, and I say it 100 times, and I've said it in every review that I've done, the show itself is just so unique, so brilliant. Whoever wrote it and just came up with this awesome idea, I don't know, it blows my mind that a show that is under, like I said, the category of comedy, that doesn't really give so much comedy that makes myself belly laugh all the time, but the story itself to be stronger than the comedy that they're throwing out is insane. It speaks wonders of the story itself. Every single moment I'm just wondering what happened. It feels like a suspenseful thriller in the weirdest ways, where you're like, what is going on? How are they gonna fix it? Is anyone gonna figure it? You know what I mean? But then they throw comedy in it, and it's like, it's done so perfectly well. But basically, this episode, Eleanor seems to be becoming this super really nice person, and yes, she has her moments, but she has leaps and bounds improved on so many levels. Obviously, we see an example when she's at the yogurt shop, and she doesn't know what she wants, so she steps aside and lets the person behind her go. That's one of those underrated deeds that, you know what I mean, people don't do it often enough, where they'll just sit there in 5 minutes and look, if I'm undecided, I step out of line. I step to the side until I figure out what I want. And so the fact that she did it, especially the person she was on Earth, and even when she got here, to see her do that speaks craziness. So awesome. We get another little bit of Jason. Jason just seems to be very much, a Florida guy, a down south guy. And we didn't get much of him here, but I don't know. I like the fact that there's someone else in this good place that doesn't belong. And want to go out on a limb and say that it's more than just them two. I feel like more than just them two. I feel like this is going to be one of those things where Chidi is like teaching a class as opposed to just them two. I don't know. I think that's the case. I feel really bad for Tahani. Like, I was somebody that really didn't care for Tahani because she seemed too proper and too good. But then like seeing this, like how screwed up her parents were towards her, like seriously, like to just, and it happens. It literally happens, but to that degree is ridiculous, man. Like for parents to pick a favorite kid and then just completely neglect or treat the other kid like crap. I can't get with that. That's ridiculous, man. But basically, everything that Tahani did, Camilla seemed to do it better. Parents were just so in awe of her sister. They never gave her credit for anything. She raised, like she was doing like a charity event or something. It was like 5.2 or I don't know, something million. And it wasn't good enough. And so, of course, they gave it to Camilla to up it. And, you know, the fact that they were even in the crowd auctioning to have dinner with their daughter. Like, seriously? Seriously? And then they passed away and, you know, pretty much gave everything to the sister. And I can't, man. That made me feel different for Tahani, to the point where like I will never sit there and bash her for how nice, and you know, she's a caring person, and it took her parents being the way they were towards her to become the person she is. And you know, she just wants to impress people. She wants to be noticed. She wants to be worth it. And just the fact that she all her life was second, and you know, could never do right, and you know, even got nothing in return in her parents' will. Like they misspelled her name. Are you serious? What? I don't know. I got a soft spot for Tahani. um you know, she definitely improved in this episode for me, just seeing her past, her flashbacks of life on Earth. I feel completely bad about the situation. But, you know, again, man, this show, man, this show is just so freaking crazy. It's so unique. It's so unique. I just don't, you know, I sit here and I get to the review portion of this, and I'm not even sure how many of you guys are still watching this, but I don't even know what to say half the time. You know, most of this is just off the top of my head. I'm not reading a script or anything. I'm just talking, you know, my thoughts on the show. And this show, it's beyond a comedy. It's beyond that. It throws comedy in there, you know, for just, you know, everything's good with comedy. Everything is good with, you know, if it can make you laugh, then, you know, people like to laugh. And so the fact that this show has a brilliant written story and they make you laugh, it's like 2 pluses, man. As a matter of fact, if you're still watching this, I'm going to give this episode a 9. This is a really great episode, and I have really nothing to say bad about it. The more I sit here and talk to you guys about it, the more I enjoy it. This was a really great episode. Janet with her little, like, not even trying to be funny, but being funny comments that she makes. Michael's a mess. Michael is a mess. And then every episode ends with one of those like, oh my God, are they going to figure out who it is? Are they going to figure out what the reason is, like the reasoning behind it is? I mean, the show lasted seasons, so either they find out and accept her or she legit, maybe she comes clean and they, you know, respect her for it and let her stay, or maybe she doesn't come clean but she becomes a really great person and then just goes on like that. I felt for so many of the characters in this. Michael is stressed the crap out about what the neighborhood going to complete crap. Tahani is stressed out because, you know, all her life she was, you know, below her sister, and now even in the charts here, She's below mostly everyone but one person. I didn't even catch the name, but I feel like that person under her might be an important character. Uh, then we get Chidi, who he just spends all his time with Eleanor, and he's trying to teach her, and he's super nervous but also stressed out because he was promised his soulmate, and now he's dealing with this. And then Eleanor, who's clearly is a this is the most she's ever been willing to learn and being such a great person. She's got to deal with the fact that Chidi doesn't want to do this anymore. So like the fact that she was able to take a step back, realize that Chidi was bothered by it, and then do something as special as she did for him speaks again such volumes about how far along she's come. We even met, what was it, Bart and Nina. I thought that was gonna end in a nightmare, but thankfully they were cool about it. Just a brilliant episode, brilliant story writing, just an all around awesome show, away from comedy, just awesome. But that's the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed the reaction. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to Patreon for the full uncut, unedited reactions over there. Again, I gave this episode a 9, initially an 8, but the more and more I talk about it, the more and more I thought about it, the show is just too good. The writing is just too good, so I bumped it up to a 9. Yeah, let me know what you thought about this episode. I will catch you guys later. Peace, guys.